All right, Michelle.
Yes.
Michelle, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Hollywood, California.
Hollywood. And tell me about your childhood. You had both your parents when you were young?
No, my father left us when I was 6 months old. My mom was a single parent until I was about 9. She remarried, or she met somebody and hooked up with them and stayed with them for 20 years.
And how would you describe your childhood?
Horrible.
Why would you say it's horrible?
My mom didn't like me.
That would make it horrible.
She threw me out when I was 13. Her exact words were, "I don't want any faggots living with me."
Oh, so you're trans?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know. And so your mom didn't accept your orientation?
No. Or my lifestyle choices.
Yeah. So at 13 you left?
To be on my own, I guess. I went to go stay with my grandmother. She was mentally ill, and it was hard to live with her because she didn't want to pay the rent. So we were always constantly going through an eviction. To try to help support the house, I started to prostitute myself in Hollywood. And
on Santa Monica Boulevard?
Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And I was there doing that for 2 years. Then I did phone sex. Then I did like webcam shows, and then all different kinds of sex-related things.
How does doing all that different sex work, how did it affect you emotionally?
It killed my sexual appetite. It made me distrust men. Made me...
My whole channel, I think, makes people distrust men. All these stories.
It made me value my own self-worth. It reevaluate my dignity, even if I still even had any.
Right. It's got to be so hard emotionally just to interact with men in these ways, right?
I was 14 when I got sexually assaulted by 2 men. And since then, it was really difficult for me to be able to be comfortable around men of color. It's happened several times since then. As recently as just like a month ago.
You've been on Skid Row for how long?
On and off for about 2 years.
Where do you stay? You're in a tent or something?
I'm in a makeshift canopy. My last canopy got burned down. I've been in 3 tent fires since I became homeless. I suspect from hate crimes. Most people don't like me because of the way I look or because of what I am.
So you become a target for...
Hate crime.
Yeah. And are drugs a part of your life?
Oh, yeah.
Let me guess.
Yes. The first time I tried meth, I was 14. I was at a nightclub and somebody introduced it. It was like, here, sniff this. And I was like, okay. And I sniffed it and went dancing for 3 days straight.
Yeah. How many days? What's your record for how many days you've been up?
I was up for 3 weeks, nonstop.
3 weeks, no sleep.
When I was in high school. Yeah, it was the longest I'd ever been up. I can't be up more than 3 days now. I start speaking in tongues. Can't understand what I'm saying. Everything's jumbled up. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that behavior.
Yeah.
So, how are you supporting yourself now? Still the same thing?
I'm on public assistance, and applied for Social Security disability. I'm still waiting to a response for that. The last time I got, they said I was too young, and I didn't have enough points acquired to get disability. So I appealed that, and I'm waiting to get a response from that.
How old are you now?
I'm 41.
You're 41. Do you still do sex work sometimes?
Unfortunately, yeah. Very, very, very seldomly. You don't make much money out here on the streets anymore. It's not like it used to be 20 years ago. Being homeless is kind of difficult to have clients because you don't have a place to see them. I feel really uncomfortable seeing people on the streets. I don't feel safe. I don't know where they're taking me. I don't feel comfortable in a car. I think we might get stopped by the cops. We might get arrested. Yeah. Or I just might get gay bashed or trans bashed because
What's the worst thing that's happened to you?
Gang rape. Been sexually assaulted, physically assaulted. My tent being burned down with me in it while I was asleep. My mom throwing me out of my house with her. I really did love her a lot.
Do you get depressed sometimes, or?
I think
angry?
I'm depressed constantly. I didn't realize it until just recently, how much of my life was surrounded by depression. I was always looked at everything on the positive side. I was trying to be a very positive person, but being without a home, it's like everything's just down, sitting around dirt and living in filth and having rats run around you constantly. I'm not talking about people rats. I'm talking about rats.
Mm-hmm.
They eat up your food. They have diseases. It's really dirty. It's scary. Not having a place to shower.
Yeah, there's so many factors that would make anyone depressed
Yeah,
down here.
the lack of privacy.
That too, yeah. Do you feel like you were trans before you were molested as a child?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I was a girl since I was about 3. I remember telling my mom something about it, and she's like, "Oh no, you're out of your mind. You're crazy." She hit me with a flip-flop, one of her sandals, and that was the first time I felt shame for being what I was or what I felt, and that was remarkably painful. I learned from then I had to hide it, and it wasn't until I was like 14, about 13, 14, I couldn't hide it anymore, and I had to act upon it because I felt like if I didn't, I was gonna die with it in my heart, and I would never feel fulfilled.
So many of the trans people that I've spoken to have said that their happiest moment was when they finally just came out and didn't fight it any longer.
It was one of my happiest moments leaving my mom's house because I got to finally be who I wanted to be. I got a chance to dress up at my grandmother's house and feel comfortable. I went to a gay and lesbian high school called Eagles. It's here in Los Angeles, and at that school I was able to freely be who I wanted to be. They didn't care. It was LA's first gay and lesbian high school, and they were cool with it, and so.
Do you have friends today?
Yes, I do. Some of them still from high school.
Oh wow, that's great. And what does your typical day look like?
I wake up, I eat, I go out and search for water, bring home 5 gallons of water, do whatever washing I need to do, make lunch or have lunch, eat for dinner, get high, and then stay up because nighttime is very scary. I didn't actually start meth again. I did that throughout high school. I stopped when I started my transition. I didn't, just from like 18 to like 30, I didn't touch it. During that time, I had met somebody and I was married for 9.5 years. Completely sober, cold turkey, which was kind of cool. But then at the end of our relationship, I realized he was a alcoholic / drug addict. And that kind of got me into the mode of, well, if he can do it, then I can do what the hell I want to do. So I started smoking pot again and started doing other things. And then when I became homeless, the fear of being in a tent alone at night made me start getting high on meth. So I could stay up at night and not be cold, and not feel the cold, and not feel so much fear of being alone. I'm in a tent. Because most of the bad things happen at night.
Yeah. During the day, it's fairly safe here.
Pretty safe, actually.
Yeah.
It's just a lot safer than I imagined.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to imagine that things that go on at night
Yeah.
could happen here, but
Yeah.
it's a very different neighborhood.
It's definitely very, very different.
What's your dream scenario that could happen at this point in your life? Are you hoping to fall in love and meet someone?
Well, that already happened. I met somebody, I fell in love, and I was married for 9.5 years. From that experience, I learned that nothing lasts forever. So I guess in my next relationship, if I'm lucky enough to have one, it's to just enjoy them while I have the chance to enjoy them. I thank God every day that I'm able to wake up and enjoy life from here on out. And I thank him for giving me the opportunity of having love for 9.5 years. So some people don't ever have that in their life. So I'm pretty lucky. If I get another chance to fall in love, that'd be awesome, but I feel fulfilled.
Do you consider yourself a happy person?
Sometimes.
You had mentioned depression before, so
Yeah.
sometimes people are both depressed and happy at the same time.
Yeah, I look happy on the outside. That's what's most important. Everyone thinks I'm happy, so. Even though inside I'm withered away and crying. No one needs to know about that. That's the way my mom taught me. Fake it till you make it.
What's your biggest regret?
Not finishing school.
Did you have dreams of doing something with your life?
I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be a professional. I wanted to work in an office in a high-rise building and just be somebody important.
Did you take hormones or anything like that to look
Oh
so
yeah, I
feminine?
took hormones. I took hormones for about a year, but I gained like 100 pounds in 1 year. I used to be like 130, and then I ballooned up to 250, and then I'm my heaviest. I was 250, and my husband loved me at that time, but I took hormones for a year, and I gained all that weight, and I was never able to get it off. And it wasn't until I became homeless that I started to lose the weight. It's hard to feed yourself out here. You don't have a consistent diet. So I lost like about almost like 80 pounds.
Typically on crystal meth, people will lose weight.
That
Not always,
true.
but usually
That's also
they do.
another true possibility. Yeah. That was my secret.
You've been in love before.
Yes. 3 times. My first relationship was when I was 14. This was an older guy. It didn't last very long. It was about 6 months. And then my second relationship was when I was 17, 18, someone who was 22. And that lasted about 2 years. And then my last relationship where I was 23 and he was 21. So I was older than him. And that lasted 9.5 years. And I've been single for the last 5 years? No, longer. And I'm 41 now, so something like that. I found out he was, our relationship ended when my mom passed away, and I found out, I found my dad's phone number for the first time ever. And I met my dad after so many years. I was 33 or 34 when I met him for the first time. My ex-husband sent me to Florida to go meet him and gave me some money to spend with him. When I came back, my boyfriend moved in with his dealer, and I had taken all the good stuff. Basically, moved out of our apartment and moved all the good stuff out. Took the good car, took the good, TV, and dashed with his dealer, and lived happily ever after with her. And from there, it was just like a downward spiral, because he was definitely my support system. He was my rock of sanity. When that happened, I didn't have my mom. My mom passed away, so I didn't have anybody to really talk to. So I kind of just did a downward spiral, little by little, until I found drugs, and then I lost my apartment, and I'm homeless.
What do you worry about now?
Not being able to get out of being homelessness. I've applied with a couple different agencies for housing because it's hard to maintain your things on the street. So especially a phone. I've gone through probably like 15 phone numbers in the last year. When they had housing for me, I didn't have a phone, so they couldn't contact me. So I had no idea that there was something available for me. So every time I get a chance to change my phone number with these agencies, I check in, and there is, there isn't. And so I've been patiently waiting. I haven't gotten a response yet.
Do you feel like you were loved as a child?
Until they found out what I really was. My grandmother loved me. She loved me dearly. She accepted me for who I was on the inside versus who I was on the outside. I remember her telling me that she knew that there was something different about me when I was like 3 years old, and telling my mom, and my mom said, "Oh no, it's just your imagination." And then as I started to get older, my feminine qualities kept persistent, and my grandma was like, I knew it. I always knew there was something special about you." And my mom just didn't want to believe it. She wanted to put on blinders. And of course, there's a lot of contributing factors why, or I was raised by 2 women, I didn't have a father figure to teach me about masculinity. I mean, there's a lot of variables that could be the answer with, but it is what it is, and I am what I am. That's all that I am.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Be humble. Nobody likes an arrogant person. Not even when you look like this. No.
All right, Michelle. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I wish you the best of luck out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you get housing.
Bye. Thank you.